it's never enough for the Inquisition. Tim Seeley is getting canceled by activists online over his recent X-Men Age of Revelation comic, which is pretty innocuous. It's just really, really stupid. But we'll get into the news, and this is just how dumb these mobs are all the time. Please hit the like and subscribe button as we talk about all things comics, my friends, and thank you for being here. This is my Fandom Pulse Substack, where we actually tell the news in comics, and so please sign up at fandompulse.com. We are doing not just comics, but of course all of the pop culture news. We've got about 8-10 articles a day. This is where it's at, and we are building. It's growing very, very fast. We just had our biggest article ever just come out earlier this week, so thank you guys for reading. And we appreciate everybody who, of course, supports us. There's unpaid memberships, of course, where you can get the aggregated news from us, which is very, very useful. And if you do want to pay, you can, of course, help us to tell the news full time as we do this. And I appreciate you guys for helping us. This is an outlet that's really, really growing and is going to change the culture over the course of things. Very, very excited as it does so. So, yes, Tim Seeley, if you don't know, has been around the comic book industry for about 20 years. He is a woke dude, at least a liberal dude. Maybe I won't call him woke because he's always been nice to me, and that's kind of not really a hallmark of the woke. Usually when you're on the woke side, you have to disavow and go crazy and all that stuff. And I came across him decades ago when he first was getting Hack Slash out there, and I'm a big fan of his Hack Slash. It's cheesecake horror. It's kind of Buffy the Vampire Slayer like, a lot of fun. And that's kind of how he brought his way up and came up in the comic industry, cheesecake horror. So as he came along, he ended up doing Witchblade. He actually did a wonderful run on Witchblade. Again, a cheesecake kind of horror-y book. It's more superhero-esque as he went through. And then he kind of got big into the mainstream industry. He had a run called Grayson, the Dick Grayson detective, or detective is, I guess, a super spy, more like, which he did, and actually got a lot of heat on during that because it wasn't Nightwing, and people threw a fit about that. Obviously, Nightwing eventually reverted back to Nightwing, and that's how it is. And then Tom Taylor took it over, and oh my gosh, don't get me started on that. But that's, kind of his main claim to fame. He also has a series called Revival from Image Comics, which was a really interesting horror story as well, which has a sci-fi TV series now. I don't know if you guys watched that this summer, but I'm interested to see where that goes on the TV end. Pretty interesting stuff. So he's been around the industry for a long, long time. Now, like I said, he does signal his left-wing politics and his feminism and the like, and has tried to appeal to these people over the years, and hangs out on Blue Sky quite a bit, which, that is what it is. But now there's this X-Men event going on, and the character of Magik, who is what's his name, is Peter Rasputin's sister. Gosh, Colossus. I don't know why I had a brain fart right there. And she's always just like not been a character that's really done well with an X-Men, and they've been trying to like revitalize her. They gave her a solo series that got canceled. It didn't quite get there in terms of sales, and then from that, in this event, they showed that she got shot and killed at the very beginning of it. Now, in the other X-Men stuff going on, she's come back as this like demon character, as a villain harassing people, and is clearly mind controlled and enslaved through that. As it goes on. So how did we get there? Well, this event actually finally goes back and shows what happened from her perspective in the issue number 4 in X-Men Age of Revelation. Now, I read X-Men Age of Revelation number 4. I usually ignore the X-Men line and events because it's tedious to me. But in this case, I wanted to see what the buzz was about, and I saw zero reason to get offended or whatever. Okay, so she's become a bad guy and whatever. She's gonna revert back eventually. Chill out, people, because this is Marvel Comics. Nothing ever stays the same. I would also like note that the Shield lady, what's her name? I'm just blanking on names today. Also got killed in the issue. I'm sure she'll eventually come back eventually. Is what it is. So that's not what did it, but the panels in this showing this in kind of a cheesecake horror fashion, which again, this is a cheesecake horror writer, has the internet going absolutely crazy, giving him death threats and the like, all because of this stupid like comic book. It's really ridiculous, but that's the current state of where things are at in the comic book industry. Super toxic. And here's the thing. The comic book industry has tried to appeal to these people for the longest time. They've kind of axed out normal people with all their crazy stuff they've put into things. They've just gone into a more insular state. And so, of course, this sorts of thing happens. And, of course, this draws ridiculous outrage when it goes along. And we're going to show exactly what happened right here. So here's where it is. She's in a realm limbo, which is basically hell, and these demons are out there. There she is. She's a tasty and soft, so clean little thing. Pretty standard. Your woman gets in this situation in a cheesecake fashion and is captured, and they're going to be gross about it because they're demons. Okay, so this isn't Tim Seeley saying this is a good thing. It's not saying Tim Seeley is advocating for this. He is clearly having the bad guys act like this in this situation. Okay, makes a lot of sense. So here it goes. She says, "I would scream, but in this place, no one would hear it." And eventually, she gets transformed. And she, "Don't go dying on me. What's the point of finally having you on a leash? If you go and croak on me, the demons wants her on a leash here." Oh my gosh! So yes, it's got some definite sexual imagery to it, and kind of dialogue to it. Again, it's pretty cheesecake, but it's implied, right? It's not like straight out there. "Nothing, Lord, just my hunger. Certainly, I'm as weak as ever, and without power." ... This is that's a interesting thing. "Dark child," he names her. "Glorious Lord, Master Sim, how grateful I am that you would sate my pathetic needs." And you could see he's got the Frank Cho angle there in the art that was drawn on this to add to the cheesecake element. So yeah, I mean this feels like classic science fiction, classic horror. Where the girl gets kidnapped or whatever. Gets turned into a demon. Here we are. This is the language that you'd see in the gore novels or whatnot. Nothing new, right? Nothing shocking. It is what it is, right? And it's like I said, a lot of it's kind of implied in the way that he does it, and it's pretty well done, right? I mean, I read the comic. Pretty well done. Is what it is. This is what you're going to get from a Tim Seeley comic always. So what's the deal? Well, people are shocked by it. Shocked, I tell you. Here it is. Here's a trans flag person going, "It's written by Tim Seeley, who decided to subject readers to his rape fantasy on the Marvel character Magik. The character known to have experienced sexual assault. If he wants to lower sales as consequences, so be it." You see even tagging a different publisher trying to get him canceled off of Godzilla, which has nothing to do with this. It's like, are you guys serious? But this is what they do, right? They want you tagged, they want everybody to hate you, and they want you dead. Every time. "Reposting my old Magik art because she's beautiful and strong and Tim Seeley's a pig." Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Now characters can't get into bad situations in comic books. That's where we're at. And that leads to death threats. Here you could see, and this is what he's got going. This is freaking terrible. And, this happens all the time. I mean, I was actually talking with Tim Seeley. I'm like, I get death threats like on a daily basis just because I report on this stuff. So I'm sorry that you got this going. So nice guy, like I said. I mean, like one of the nicest guys in comics, and it's just so stupid that these people act like this. And this is where it goes. So he says on Blue Sky, "I had to finally deactivate Twitter because it was a touch too much death for me and the family. It was a shit 16-year run. F everybody." There it is. He's still on Blue Sky, which, by the way, I don't think is going to make things better. So as they see this, they actually tell people to go harass both Tim Seeley and Philip Sevy, the artist, on Blue Sky as well. And now the thing is, and they virtue signal about Twitter, like Twitter's like somehow the bad thing, and that Blue Sky is somehow better. Now the toxicity exists on Blue Sky as well. Now there's less of it because like pretty much nobody's on there anymore. Everybody pretty much gave up on it because it's a dead platform at this point. They all flipped out, and they've all pretty much come back to Twitter X at this, which is annoying because these people, these ones here, are getting amplified by Elon's current algorithm, which I think actually is them trying to force people to fight. Like because I see it as a right-wing guy, I'm going to fight with this, and that gets engagement, and that's what he wants, I guess. It's annoying, but the algorithm's really busted right now because of that, and is something obnoxious. But Blue Sky's no better. As you get into it, it's already starting. Finally saw what Tim Seeley did to Magik. "Get the F away from her, you misogynistic effing male." I guess this is who Marvel wants as their audience. "Stay away from her. This is absolutely disgusting, and I'm repulsed that Marvel even effing thought getting her raped by demons and crawling back to Belasco was appropriate. F this shit." Wow. This person is unhinged about a comic book. Yes. This is what you're dealing with. So I don't think Blue Sky is going to be any better than Twitter on this front, but it is what it is. Now, I'm like, I told him, I'm like, hey, this is the woke, right? I mean, the woke are perpetually outraged. They're poor, so they don't even have disposable income. They're just angry all the time. And this is what like the comic industry kind of catered towards. And like I said, they give me death threats like on a daily basis, so I'm just used to it at this point. And that's what they do. Now, Tim Cely doesn't think it's political, which is interesting because this is clearly all about feminism, calling a white male a misogynist, calling him names, etc., and canceling him over identity politics over a panel where there's just like somebody taken over by a demon. And it's like, it's stupid, right? It's like ridiculous. And it looks nice. So, I mean, what do you want? But that's it. And like I said, obviously she's going to revert. So, like, what's the deal? But that's it. That's how far they go all the time. And they're going to go this far on Blue Sky as well. They're going to start harassing him over there over and over and over again. And that's just what happens. And I think that Marvel and DC do cater towards this crowd. I think they've wanted this. If you look at Marvel and DC overall, like they don't really have much anymore because continuity doesn't really exist anymore throughout any of these comics. And so what do? They only have like gimmicks that'll get them headlines, right? They only have blind bag sales, right? Where they're trying to like sell extra variant covers because people don't read a lot of these comics anymore. And until Marvel just fixes things to actually care about continuity, care about character development, I say this all the time, and just like ignore these people and just go for an audience of normal people again, they're going to keep running into these problems because there's not much left. And that's very, very sad. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Obviously, very, very sad that Mr. Seeley's getting death threats over this. It's ridiculous. Hit the like and subscribe button. And, of course, check out my Phantom Pulse Substack. It's in the description below. Thanks, guys, for being here and reading the news. Very, very important. Share this out with your friends. It's where everything is. We'll be back soon.